So my upbringing was probably very different than most people. I was born into a Christian family. Both of my parents were, saved, Bible believing, went to church 3 times a week. My father was a pastor, is a pastor. I grew up in Christian school, kindergarten through 12th grade. So everything that I learned had a biblical sort of tint on it. A typical day in our house was wake up, mom and dad are both around, you say your prayers, you pray before bed, you pray before dinner, you talk about God, you talk about the Bible. It was just all God all the time, I guess you could say, which was kept us from a lot of things growing up, and was looking back it was a great blessing. It's a struggle because when that's all you've known, you want to kind of get out of it a little bit. You want to try different things and smoke weed and drink. I got very good at being almost two different people because I knew all the right things to say. I had all the background, I had all the words, and I knew what people were looking for. So I could say the right things to them when I was living a completely different way. Yeah, I mean, if you met me outside of the church, you would never know that I was a Christian. I didn't talk about it. I didn't take a stand against or for anything in the public view. I knew that I was saved. I always never questioned that, but I was never able to give 100% of myself, of my heart, and of my life to God. Whether when I was in Bible college, maybe I was giving 80%, 85%, but I was holding 20% back for myself. To be a certain way around a group of friends, because I felt maybe insecurities about what they would think of me if they saw me really living a Christian life. I was keeping 20% for myself. I was, holding on to things that I shouldn't be, acting one way and talking about things that were so far from what people in the church would ever think that I was doing. Things came to light in my life, and it was brought to just the forefront of my life and in front of my eyes that I was living this double life. God made it so clear to me that I just could not continue to walk this line and keep one foot in both worlds. The only thing that I could do was just pray. I found myself, for maybe like a week or so, just praying, just crying out to God, break to kind of free me of these walls that I'd built up and these insecurities that I had. And we were in church Sunday morning and, sort of going through worship service. And the last song that we sang, we hadn't sang it at church in quite a while, and we sang it in the words of the song. It says over and over again, he won't relent until he has it all. My heart is yours. He won't relent until he has it all. My heart is yours. At that time, I just felt something that I never felt before. I had chills over my whole body, and I felt this calm and peace come over me, and at the time I just broke down. I just started weeping. I'd never have experienced anything like that, and I knew that it was the Holy Spirit, and I knew that my life at that point was changing. I felt this freedom that I never had felt before. I felt these walls that I had built up being taken down. I felt this burden that I was carrying around for no reason disappear. And I felt completely at peace. Everything changed. I mean, I quickly learned and realized that if I wasn't giving 100% to God, I wasn't giving 100% to my life. I wasn't giving 100% to anything that I was doing, to my marriage, to my wife, to my family, to my job, to everything. It's something that I know that I couldn't have done on my own. You know, it took Him working through me and working in me to get to that point, but now that I'm there, it's amazing. I could never go back. I don't want to. I think for men it's tough because we're so used to being the strong ones, the providers, the spiritual head, that we have a harder time submitting to God. And by not submitting, we are depriving ourselves of something amazing that He has for us. You know, what I would say to somebody who knows that, you know, if you're living in two worlds, you know that you are. And you know that you can't do that forever. And my advice would be, you know, let God, let Him in. You know, let Him take over that 20%. He can do so much more with that than you could ever imagine that you would do. You know, so just let Him. My name is John, and I have been restored.